This is the story of a murder that shocked the world, a cold-blooded assassination that took place not in some dark alley, but in the bustling public space of an international airport. The victim? Kim Jong-nam, the estranged half-brother of North Korea's supreme leader, Kim Jong-un. His death wasn't just a family tragedy. It was a chilling reminder of the brutal lengths some leaders will go to secure their power. The tale is filled with intrigue, deception, and a clear message from one of the most secretive regimes in the world. Let's set the stage. It's February 13th, 2017, and Kim Jong-nam is at Kuala Lumpur International Airport in Malaysia. He's not a stranger to living on the edge. After all, he's been in exile for years, having fallen out of favor with his powerful family. Kim Jong-nam was once considered the heir apparent to their father, Kim Jong-il. But a few missteps, like trying to sneak into Japan with a fake passport to visit Tokyo Disneyland, led to him being sidelined. When his younger half-brother, Kim Jong-un, took over as the supreme leader of North Korea, Jong-nam's fate was sealed. Living abroad, he was a vocal critic of the regime, openly expressing doubts about Kim Jong-un's ability to lead. But on this particular day, he's just another traveler, navigating the airport, getting ready to board a flight to Macau, where he's been living in semi-secrecy under Chinese protection. He's probably used to keeping a low profile, but today, the danger catches up with him in a way he never saw coming. As Kim Jong-nam strolls through the terminal, two women approach him. To the casual observer, they seem ordinary enough. One of them, Siti Aisyah from Indonesia, is wearing a white top emblazoned with LOL, while the other, Juan Thi Huang from Vietnam, appears equally unremarkable. They each walk up to him, one from each side, and before he can react, they're smearing a liquid on his face. It's over in seconds, quick, efficient, and deadly. Kim Jong-nam is left in shock. He feels something is terribly wrong and immediately seeks help, managing to reach a nearby help desk where he tells the staff, "I think someone sprayed chemicals on me." By now his eyes are burning, his vision blurring, and his breathing becoming increasingly difficult. The airport staff rush him to the clinic, but it's too late. Within 20 minutes of the attack, Kim Jong-nam is dead. Now let's take a step back and unravel this bizarre and deadly encounter. What was that substance the women smeared on his face? It wasn't just any chemical. It was VX nerve agent, one of the most lethal chemical weapons ever created. VX is so dangerous that even a tiny amount can kill within minutes by causing convulsions, paralysis, and eventually respiratory failure. This stuff is banned under the Chemical Weapons Convention, and it's not something you can just pick up at your local pharmacy. Only a government with the resources and audacity to flout international law could have gotten their hands on it. The women, Siti Aisyah and Juan Thi Huang, were arrested within days and charged with murder. But here's where the story takes another twist. Both women claimed they had no idea they were part of an assassination plot. According to them, they thought they were participating in a prank for a TV show, something like Punk'd or Just for Laughs. They said they had been approached by a group of men who paid them to play these pranks on strangers in public places. The men even rehearsed the moves with them several times, convincing them it was all in good fun. But these weren't just any men. They were North Korean agents, carefully orchestrating the murder of Kim Jong-nam. As the details emerged, the plot became even more sinister. The women were clearly pawns in a much larger game, set up to take the fall for a murder that had all the hallmarks of a state-sponsored assassination. The men who recruited them had been trailing Kim Jong-nam for days, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Once the deed was done, they fled Malaysia, heading back to North Korea, leaving the two women to face the music. The trial of Siti Aisyah and Juan Thi Huang was closely watched around the world. The women faced the possibility of the death penalty, and their defense lawyers argued that they were innocent victims of a plot far beyond their control. Evidence presented during the trial supported their claims. CCTV footage showed the women rehearsing the prank days before the murder, and there was no clear motive for either of them to kill Kim Jong-nam. They didn't even know who he was. To them, he was just another stranger at the airport. But why would North Korea go to such lengths to kill Kim Jong-nam? The answer lies in the paranoid world of North Korean politics. Kim Jong-nam, despite living in exile, was still a potential threat to Kim Jong-un's rule. There were rumors that Kim Jong-nam had the backing of powerful factions within China, and that Beijing might one day try to install him as a more manageable leader in Pyongyang. For Kim Jong-un, who has a history of brutally eliminating anyone he perceives as a threat, including his own uncle, Kim Jong-nam was a loose end that needed tying up. The trial of the two women dragged on for over a year, with international pressure mounting. Both Indonesia and Vietnam were lobbying hard for the release of their citizens, arguing that they had been duped into participating in the assassination. The world watched as these two young women, caught up in the deadly games of a rogue state, waited to learn their fate. In the end, justice was a mixed bag. In March 2019, Siti Aisyah was released after Malaysian prosecutors dropped the murder charge against her, citing insufficient evidence. Her release was seen as a victory for Indonesian diplomacy. 2 months later, Juan Thi Huang's charge was reduced to causing hurt by dangerous means, which allowed her to be released as well. She was freed on May 3, 2019, after serving just over 2 years in custody. So, did Kim Jong-un get away with murder? Well, pretty much. The key North Korean operatives involved in the assassination fled back to Pyongyang, and with no extradition treaty between Malaysia and North Korea, they were beyond the reach of the law. The use of VX nerve agent, the involvement of North Korean agents, and the political motive all pointed directly to the North Korean regime, but without the perpetrators in custody, it was impossible to bring the case to a full conclusion. The fallout from Kim Jong-nam's murder was significant. Malaysia severed diplomatic ties with North Korea, and the incident further isolated the regime on the international stage. It also raised serious concerns about the lengths to which Kim Jong-un would go to eliminate any potential rivals, even if they were his own family. The brazen use of a chemical weapon in a public place was a clear message to the world. No one, not even family, was safe from the reach of the North Korean dictator. And that's the brutal, twisted story of how an airport became the scene of an international assassination. Kim Jong-nam's death wasn't just a case of sibling rivalry gone wrong. It was a calculated act of political murder, designed to send a message and remove a potential threat to one of the world's most ruthless leaders. The case left a trail of questions, a few broken lives, and a stark reminder of the dangerous game of power politics on the global stage.